So we're here at UDS-Q in Oakland, California. It's beautiful here. And I'm here with Mark Shuttleworth, the founder of Ubuntu. And so I know this week there's been a lot of talk about cloud. We have this new thing called Maz and Juju, and Ubuntu seems to be a real mover and shaker in this hyperscale computing, low-power ARM computing. What are some of the things that have been exciting for you this week?
So all of the things that you described there are sort of different facets of the same idea, which is if you take a kind of core platform, which includes all of the goodness of the open source world, and you put a lot of effort into making that core really high quality, then people will find incredible things to do with it. So the desktop team are taking that quality core and building a beautiful desktop. The cloud guys are taking that core, making it really easy to deploy on all the different kinds of clouds. The Maz guys are saying, well, that core should be able to get onto any kind of metal, whether it's ARM, whether it's x86, whether it's 10,000 servers, whether it's 10 servers. And I think so, keeping our focus on the quality of that core unleashes all of the creativity in all of those different teams.
Nice. And then there was some exciting news from Calzada. They showed OpenStack running on their Energy Core server, which I think that was the first time in public it's been demonstrated, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So none of us had ever seen that before, right? We've seen simulations of the silicon, and they showed up here with their first tape out. What was it? 48 nodes.
48 quad-core nodes. Yeah.
48 quad-core nodes, and by the end of the week they had OpenStack and Maz working with it, which is fantastic.
Nice. And I also know a big discussion, you mentioned the quality, but we're talking to people that in terms of increased automated testing, test harnesses for physical hardware, where you can power it on and off, run tests, get results from a remote location.
Yeah. So a lot of the quality engineering that went into 1204 was aimed at building infrastructure systems and processes that just can keep running. And those are they're like a safety, they're like airbags that let us run faster because we have the airbags, right? If we trip or stumble, then immediately we notice it immediately. So I think what you'll see in 1210 is those systems expand. And a really interesting development is we're going to create more and more tools for upstreams. To enable testing of hardware, to enable testing of applications in the plumbing layers, to enable testing of GUI applications, Qt applications, GTK applications. So being able to automate testing of the entire stack and getting upstreams excited about having access to places where they can run those tests themselves for upstream development, not specific to Ubuntu, just making upstream quality even better. So that's enormously empowering. That's kind of accelerating the whole ecosystem.
Right. Well, and that's such an interesting prospect for developers, in terms of like where else can you go and have this kind of world-class, physical hardware harness that you can test things on. That's fantastic. Something I find really interesting about Ubuntu is that it stretches all the way from the cloud to the client, and it seems like that's such a rich opportunity because Ubuntu is pretty unique in that way in terms of, I think you have a desktop that's just as beautiful as Mac OS X, and you have a very industrial grade server environment, also cloud environment, and being able to have the same environment stretch from one end to the other is such a rich opportunity for developers and types of applications.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of web developers, professional developers, large numbers of them have moved to Mac OS X because it's beautiful and usable, but it's Unix. And with all the work that's gone into 1204 and now into 1210 and so on, I think we can say the same about Ubuntu. And what we also have, though, we have this amazing friction-free deployment story where the work that you do on your desktop can deploy without any changes straight into the cloud because you've got the same core essentially for Ubuntu on the cloud as you do on the desktop. And that's really exciting. It's really unique. So I think for professional developers, or in your case, professional creators, professional artists, and so on, there's starting to be a really interesting story there. The more people we get together to celebrate that, the faster that'll go.
Right. And then there was the very exciting announcement from Dell on the Sputnik project with their new high-end developer-focused hardware.
Those are really beautiful, beautiful laptops. In the high end, you're going to be able to run hundreds of LXC containers, which means you can simulate on your laptop cloud configurations of hundreds of nodes, which is kind of unprecedented, right? So for high-end developers, especially people building multi-tier applications in the cloud, it's going to be a very sweet experience. With the hardware being beautiful, the desktop being beautiful, the cloud experience being beautiful, it's glorious.
Right. So one last thing, what are you most excited about for the 1210 cycle?
Most excited about for 1210? Gosh. I think some of the work that we're doing now with instrumentation, for example, the crash database work, is going to enable us, is the sort of foundational layer that puts us on a trajectory for the next LTS 1404 to be the best platform in the world. If we can essentially give upstreams the ability to know in real time whether changes that they're making are increasing the quality of millions of users of desktop experience or cloud experience, or making it worse, then I think we have a really tight feedback loop. So I think this new approach to quality, which is very automated, very machine learning driven, and extends from upstream all the way into the platform and then down to users as well. It's like one continuous extended fabric. I think that's completely foundational for creating the sort of platform that in technology we've never seen.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And
cheers.